So the school day ends. As you can see, the school day here is over. My students are gone. I'm in my classroom. People are probably wondering, what is it that teachers, what do we exactly do when the school day ends? Okay, so I can't talk for every single teacher, but I think when you see this list of 17, kind of describes in general, like what do teachers actually do. I have a website dedicated to teaching and to education. It's called teacheradvisor.com. I'm going to put a link to that in the description below. I'm sure it's going to show up somewhere on the screen right now as well. So let's get started. One of the things that teachers do after school, kind of obvious, but they go home like right away, right? Some teachers do that, not all teachers. Teachers that, like for example, before I had kids, I probably had more time where I could spend and kind of hang out after school, work on different things and just, do those kinds of things. But some teachers just don't have that option, right? As you start to have your own family, like I do right now too, having 2 kids, I need to get home and I have other responsibilities that I need to take care of. So for me, I tend to do all the work that I can, as much as I can during the school day. I'm not hanging around just like wasting time. I'm doing as much as I can so that I know that, after that bell rings, for us it's 2:50, I'm pretty much on my own. I have to stick around for maybe another 15 to 20 minutes. And then after that, as long as I have everything done, I'm okay going home knowing that I can start the next day all caught up. A lot of teachers, they don't go home. A lot of teachers, they stay after school and they do coaching. And actually, coaching, you usually get a stipend for that, which means it's a paid position. So if you stay after and you coach something like soccer, if you coach something like basketball, if you coach something like cheerleading, teachers will do that and they'll get paid to do that. So they stay after school, they coach a sport, and they make more money. So it's a good situation for us, for teachers. All right, something else teachers will do is they'll do extracurricular activities, so a little bit different than sports. Extracurricular activities could be something like chess club, it could be something like yearbook club, right? Those would qualify as extracurricular activities. Or if you do like a teacher, maybe you lead like student council or you do the school newspaper, that's what I mean by extracurricular activities. Probably the most common thing that teachers do after school, number 4, is they plan and prepare for the following school day. This is the big one, right? You don't want to go home not knowing what you're going to be doing the following day. Like for me personally, I try to get that all out of the way while I'm here so that when I leave, whether that's 20 or 30 minutes after the school day ends, I know that everything's done. I have everything planned out. I have my lesson plan all kind of put together. I have any materials that I need because I teach science. I have that all ready to go for the following day. You don't want to be doing that in the morning, okay? All right, something else, number 5, that teachers will do is really just cleaning and organizing their classroom. So me being a science teacher, after school, that's my chance to kind of clean everything up, reorganize, put things back where they have to be. You can see behind me I have all these shelves and stuff, so I try to keep things as well organized as I can. But a lot of times, like that's what teachers are doing after school also, is just cleaning up, reorganizing, putting away stuff that they use throughout the day. So let's go on to the next one. Yeah, number 6, socializing with other teachers. So a lot of teachers will stay after school, or sometimes teachers will stay after school, and they'll just kind of hang out and socialize with other teachers. So nothing wrong with that. Just time to get kind of caught up with like your life outside of school. Sometimes your life inside of school too, but often you just kind of talk about your own kids, your own personal life, what's going on, what's new, those kinds of things. So very common. Socializing after school is very common as well, right? And healthy too. All right, another thing that's very common is making phone calls and checking emails. This is definitely one I do every day before I leave. I make sure I put aside time where I can just like grab my computer, I can go through all my emails and kind of clear everything up so that I can go home and there's nothing like on my mind when I'm at home. Because at least for me, the worst thing is going home knowing that I left like emails that I need to get to in the morning. So teachers will do that for sure at the end of the school day. They'll check emails, and then they're going to make phone calls home, or they're going to make phone calls to other buildings, or whatever that might be. But that's something very common that teachers do: phone calls, emails. All right, next one on the list is grading assignments. Or grading assessments, whatever you want to call it. It's pretty much the same thing. You're just grading stuff that students have turned in, and usually teachers, or not usually, but often teachers will also do that after school. So it's a perfect time where you're not really going to get interrupted very much. You can kind of close your door, get all your grading done, and then start entering those grades into the grade book. Like the school district that I work for, those grades are entered online. So that's very common what teachers do after school. Actually, I just kind of talked about this one in the last one, but entering grades is a really important one too, and this is something that teachers will often do after school. So you have to enter grades. Like most schools right now, nobody's doing grades on like paper, so most schools are doing, if not all schools, are doing electronically. So like for us, we have a website that we go to, and then that's where we enter our grades. So entering grades for sure. All right, another big one after school that teachers will do is they are going to, I have to look at my notes because I'm forgetting, so sorry about that. They will often have meetings with staff and with parents. So you might have a meeting with an administrator, you might have a meeting with parents to kind of talk about their student or a student, talk about concerns, talk about things that are going on in the classroom where you just can't do it during the school day. Because people are not available until like after school. So this would be a good time where after school where like parents will come in and you can kind of meet with them and talk about their student and just like what's going on with them. So very common for teachers I should say, to do that after school. Next one on my list is going to the restroom. I know like for me personally, sometimes if I finish off my day, like where I teach the last 3 periods of the day, the restroom might be just like too far of a walk in between 4-minute passing periods to go to, so you just can't, right? You just have to like wait, and then as soon as that bell rings, and that's your chance. So like the school day ends, what do teachers do? Well, one of the like logical things is they use the restroom because they just didn't have time during the school day. Let's go to the next one. Not sure how this is in other buildings or other districts across the country, but there is some supervision that teachers will do after school. Like they often call it just like after school supervision, and that means that like as students are leaving the building, they're going out and making sure that they're getting like into the correct or into the cars, or they're getting into their buses, those kinds of things. It's just like a way to kind of help out and make sure that like the students are like orderly, or like somewhat orderly, leaving the building. So. A lot of teachers will stay after to do that. Not all teachers though. Some teachers, like I often do, is I end up doing my supervision sometimes like in the morning versus the afternoons. But supervision after school for helping students get onto buses or getting into cars, very common also. All right, some teachers are actually going to work a second job. So depending on where you teach, like you've heard before, teaching is not going to make you a millionaire. So some teachers will have to work a second job. So what do some teachers do after school? Well, some of them do a combination of all the things I've talked about, and plus they have to go work a second job as well. So that's just the reality of it. All right, another thing teachers do after school is they're reteaching, or they're tutoring, or they're working with students one-to-one, helping them out. So very common for teachers to use up some time or spend some time after school reteaching some things that they did throughout the school day that maybe students didn't understand, or they need to just reteach, or maybe they need to give an assignment that the student missed because of an absent. But a lot of teachers do that too after school, is they're going to still continue working with students. All right, and the last one on my list is cleaning or cleaning supplies. So for me, I teach science. I'm so lucky that in the building that I teach in, we actually have a dishwasher. So like I could take all of my test tubes, I could take all of like any of my glassware basically, even plasticware, if I put it on the top shelf, and I could put it into this dishwasher and it kind of cleans everything for me. But cleaning supplies is something that teachers will often do after school. Maybe it does depend on like what is the subject that you teach. Like teaching science, I definitely have stuff to clean. Okay. All right, so hopefully my list of 17 of things that teachers do after school helped you out. So now you have an idea of like what is it that teachers do after school. I think this is pretty thorough. If you're a teacher and you know that there's things that are left off of the list, please go to the comments and then just let us all know there. Maybe at some point I could take that and just like add it to my website as well. So again, visit my website and you can get a list of everything that I just talked about. I'll put the description, or I'll put the link in the description below. The name of the website is teacheradvisor.com. It's going to show up on the screen probably right now at some point. So you'll have a link to the list of the 17 on my website. Okay, so thanks for watching. If you made it this far, I appreciate it. Make sure you hit the like button if you found this useful. And this is my second video. So hopefully it's getting better. My first video was, it was rough, put it that way. So I'll put a link to that one too on the bottom. I think the title of the video is How Old Are 8th Graders? So if you want to check that one out too, and then feel free to critique me as much as you want. I don't take things personally because I don't really care what people think that much. So, all right, thank you, bye.